You want to mess with me? I'm Edward Scissorhands. What is up, guys? It's Big Man Chief Fan here. Welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be doing a tag, which I haven't done in a long while. I know, it's been so long. But anyway, I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to get this, the BookTube, BookTuber, BookTube book tag. So many books. It's just... I was just reminded of those, like, Lazy Town edits. Has anybody seen those? Like, those weird Lazy Town edits where they made that song, like, we are number one, and, like, and I don't know, I'm getting off track right now. But if you know what I'm talking about, comment it down below. But anyway, what I'm going to be doing is the BookTube, BookTuber, BookTube book tag 2.0, I must add. But this tag, I think, was originally created by a strip cover lit, who I love, but then there's two people who tagged me, which is the restricted section. Sue and Meg from the restricted section. Or Megan, I don't know how I should refer to you as, but comment down below. I gotta stop doing that. But anyway, what the BookTuber, BookTube, BookTuber, BookTube book tag 2.0 is that we pretty much take a bunch of booktubers, and for every booktuber, we have to describe the booktuber and associate that book with that description. So, I'm not going to explain it, it's just going to more explain itself more than anything. So, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, so, I actually have the restricted sections video pulled up. There's no actual, like, questions, I think we just pick booktubers and describe them on our own. And I have the restricted section video up, and they're holding beer, because that's how they roll. But anyway... What we have to add in the person who tagged us, or people who tagged us, so I'm gonna first do the restricted section. And my description of them is a fabulous duo, because they're absolutely fabulous and they're a duo. But anyway, I gotta stop doing thumbs up. But anyway, I chose The Last Colony by John Scalzi, and the reason why I didn't choose Of Mice and Men or City of Thieves is because, one, I did those two books many times before for similar questions and other tags, and I wanted to switch things up. And The Last Colony, while it isn't my it's actually my least favorite in the series, even though it's still really good. Well, it's my least favorite so far. I haven't heard great things about the fourth book, but this book was still really good. But the reason why I chose this one in particular is because its main focus is on the two best characters in the series, John Perry and Jane. They are phenomenal characters. Like, seriously, they're some of the best characters I've come across all year. Hands down. I absolutely love these two. And of course, and also a little bit of spoiler alert, they're married. So, that's a little spoiler alert for you, just to give you a little taste. But just their chemistry with each other and how they talk lovey-dovey, and then in the next second they can talk all military-like, and they all are stern and stiff, but then they can get like, oh, I love you so much. But the way that their dialogue flows throughout the book, the way that the relationship flows throughout the book is just incredible. John Scalzi definitely knows what he's doing, and I love this series so far. Even though the third book wasn't up to par with the first two, I still think they're all three, at least the first three, are definitely worth reading. I love this series so far, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I love John and Jane. They're fantastic. Okay, what is a Mega Man Chief Fan video without mentioning the man who practically gave my first bit of major exposure? Peter from Peter Likes Books. That man who reads very little nowadays, but still talks a lot. Now, Peter, this is just for me, personally, but can you read a little more? I just want more discussion from you. I don't know. But it's just kind of sad that, not sad, I want to try to stay out of, like, hurting your feelings, but, I want to make sure that you get back to reading. I want to help you out of this slump. So, anyway, what I've got here is one of my favorite books of all time, and, Peter loves LGBTQ fiction because he's gay himself. So I pulled out my favorite LGBTQ book of all time, Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. I talked more about this book in my top 10 books of this year video, top 10 books of 2016. And so if you want to know more about what the book is about, then go to there. But the reason why I chose this is because Jeffrey Eugenides writes so little. He needs to write more. And I sound like a complete idiot right now, but seriously, Jeffrey Eugenides, if you're somehow watching this, you are one of the most talented authors alive right now, and you're I don't know if you're working on another book right now, which I'm hoping you are, but I just love this book so much. I love the virgin suicides. I love the marriage plot, and I cannot express my love for this author enough. He is absolutely wonderful, and I cannot recommend this book enough. It is truly a modern masterpiece. Steve Donahue! Oh yeah, Steve Donahue, one of my other big friends on BookTube, but well, not as big as like Peter or Kate, which we'll get into a little bit. But Steve, you're still awesome. We just need to talk a little more now. But anyway, Steve Donahue. I like to call Steve Donahue Nonfiction Man because he loves nonfiction, and he steered me towards a lot of great books. And this one was actually recommended to me by the restricted section, but I still feel like this is something that would be right up his alley, and that is The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. This was fantastic. It was so fantastic. This is the story of Henrietta Lacks, the true story of Henrietta Lacks, and like the HeLa cells and everything that surrounds them. And it's the story of not only those cells, but of the Lacks family. This is half family saga, well, more of a family saga than of a history book, because Rebecca Skloot actually got really personal and really got in touch with the Lacks family, and she practically became friends with, no, not practically, she did become friends with the Lacks family. Really good friends, actually. And I don't want to go more into this book than I have to, because that would lead to spoilers, because even though this book shouldn't sound like a book that has a lot of spoilers, because it's history, it does. It reads like a novel. Here, I'll read you something from the Washington Post in the back. Vivid. Henrietta Lacks comes fully alive on the page. Immortal life reads like a novel. And that cannot be more true even if they wanted it to be more true. It is wonderful, and I cannot recommend this book enough. So The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It just barely missed a 5 out of 5 for its, because I just felt like it was a lot like the history parts could have been a little better, but still the family saga parts were definitely a 5 out of 5 material. I love this book, so yeah. Okay, and then another booktuber who rarely barely knows who I am. He probably only knows me through Goodreads, actually. And that is Max over at Well Done Books. I'm not, with the exception of Peter, I don't think I'm really known in, like, famous booktubers, so yeah, but anyway, Max and I probably have similar tastes, like strangely similar tastes, and some of his books are right up my alley. And of course, I'm pulling out not only his favorite book of all time, but one of my favorite books of all time as well, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, what have I not said about this book that hasn't been said before? I love this book so much. Oscar is one of my favorite characters of all time. In fact, he's probably my favorite character besides Holden. He's phenomenal, and this whole book is phenomenal, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is truly a modern masterpiece, just like Middlesex. Okay, next up, Whitney Novels. Whitney over at Whitney Novels, who I love. Usually, I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm such a hipster, but anyway, but I found myself not to be the biggest fan of, like, massive booktubers, but Whitney just has such a passion that she doesn't feel like she's just reading off a script or anything, or just says about the same books you've heard other people talk about. She reads pretty diversely. She reads really interesting books. Like right now she's reading a lot of poetry, and it's getting me to get into a lot of poetry. So how did I describe Whitney? Well, she is not getting away with her shot! Okay, that went a little too far. But she loves Hamilton, so I decided to, and musicals in general, so I decided to pull out a book about music. Not really, but I was searching all across my bookshelves, and I found Bel Canto by Ann Patchett. I'm like, yeah, this is as good as you're gonna get, because I really like this book, and it's Ann Patchett, who you've met, which is really the only author real author I've ever met. So Ann Patchett, this is about an opera house who gets taken under hostage. Very charming. And anyway, Bel Canto is just wonderful. It has very great writing and really good and a really gripping story. I just felt like the characters could have been a little better, but at the same time, Anne Patchett recovered her character issue with Commonwealth, which I so am in love with. But Bel Canto is still really good. It's definitely her second best novel, and her most famous novel, actually. But Bel Canto, I cannot recommend this book enough. It's absolutely fantastic, even with its issues. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Because these people aren't gonna go away their life. I don't know, I was trying to make another Hamilton reference. I've only listened to the soundtrack once. Kate, over at Kate File, who is probably one of my best friends on... No, she is one of my best friends on BookTube. She is absolutely wonderful. We connect over everything. And I describe her as that one girl in the corner reading Murakami. And that means I'm pulling out her Haruki Murakami book. But not the Winterberg Chronicle, even though it's both our favorite Murakami novel. I'm pulling out my personal second favorite Murakami novel. I said in Goodreads that it was After Dark, but really, it's Kafka on the Shore. I know. I still love After Dark, but Kafka on the Shore really is my favorite Murakami novel. It's... One of the storylines is pretty good, but the storyline about the young man named Kafka is amazing! Oh my goodness, it is so well done. It's just... His life story is so interesting that I cannot not get into his story. It's just so well written. Murakami definitely knows what he's doing with this. Oh man, I'm a little gassy today, but anyway, I love this book. I think one of the... This is like two colliding storylines. Like I said, one of the storylines is definitely weaker than the other one, but it's still a fantastic book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's just wonderful, and it's personally my second favorite Murakami novel. So, yeah. Okay, who do I have next? Adam over at Memento Mori. I haven't talked to this guy in a while, but, hi! I'm back! But, anyway, what have I done? So I did #amreading, because he always does, like, instead of, like, currently reading, like, my book rants, he does, like, am reading, and they're fantastic. He's just one of my personal favorites. So I decided to pull out the book I'm currently reading, and that is Confessions of a Mask by Yukio Mishima. Yukio Mishima is one of my personal favorite authors, and this book, even though I'm only about, like, 35 pages into it, I know I'm gonna love this already. It's about a man named, Kochan, I think is how you pronounce it, and he's gay, and he's living in World War II Japan. So that should be really interesting. And I've heard just such fantastic things about this book. And I cannot wait to get into it. I may binge it after I get this video uploaded. So yeah, Yukio Mishima, I absolutely love this man, even though he got crazy at the last parts of his life. But yeah, I adore this novel. It's so fantastic. It's fantastic so far. And then finally, Josh from Literary Gladiators. Okay, the book I chose is kind of a stretch, but how do I describe Josh? Food. Food. Sandwiches, cannolis, soups, cookies, whatever you want. But if you know Josh over at Literary Gladiators, he does a whole ton of food-based tags, and they're all fantastic. And I think I was able to get into one. I don't know. I knew I was in his garden book tag, which I did a video about, but I don't know if I ever got to do a food tag, so I don't know. But anyway, food. I'm going with a complete stretch here, but Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Okay, what do these kids want to do on the island? They want to hunt, and hunt for what? Food! There we go. That's literally my connection with this book and what's it called? Josh's description. So, Lord of the Flies, if you don't know what this book is about, what are you doing? Go read it. It's great. I personally love Lord of the Flies and consider it one of my personal favorites. So that was the video, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below on what you guys thought of the video. And if you were mentioned in this book tag, that means you got tagged. So, yay. Anyway, I'm Mega Man Chief Fan, and I'll see you later, guys.